This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on LRodVNetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss and your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on LRodVNetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to LRodVNetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.
Welcome to this week's episode of Thirsty Topics. I'm Lawrence Elrod.
And I'm Meryl Climo.
Hey, Meryl, how are you doing today?
Hey. I'm good. I sprung for a house cleaner last week, and I feel like, we live in a very small place, and it's kind of ridiculous to get a house cleaner, but like, I feel like if people like that is like the best treatment ever. So now I'm sitting in a very clean house, and like, to me, it's like a self-care thing, just like a massage or a facial or something. I feel like getting a house cleaner every now and then is like so nice.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it frees you up to do other things, even if you want to just sit back and relax.
Yeah, exactly. Our nice girl walked in and she was like, whoa. I was like, I know, I don't, because it's been such a long time and we just kind of got out of control, but this is my PSA for people that if it feels too daunting, sometimes it's okay to just hire someone to do stuff for you if you can afford it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, my weekend was fantastic. My Bears came back. They won. They beat the Packers. It's really funny because a lot of Green Bay fans, all fans talk smack and stuff like that. That's a part of the game, but Green Bay fans take it to the extreme, and to be able to shove it down their throats and quiet them down after that game was a big thing. Even the Bears' actual teammates, when they were interviewing, they were at least acknowledging about all the smack that even the Green Bay players was talking about. Oh, yeah, we'll see you guys here in Green Bay next week. And I'm like, oh, wow. So they just looked right past the game. Huh? So
now, do they do the thing of like, well, they only won because this and this isn't fair? Like, or does everyone take it like an actual, like a champ when they lose? Like, are people good losers or not so much?
Well, the team itself, they were really quiet about it. There wasn't a lot being said. Their kicker, I have to check, but I wonder if he still has a job because he missed 3. I think he missed an extra point and 2 field goals, which is the equivalent of a touchdown. It's like 7 points. And we won by 4 points. So you can kind of do the math there. So
yeah, that's tough. I always think too, just because I always think of the players, but also like their wives or families or girlfriends, because that's probably so awkward if you have someone that comes home after like a big loss or a big mistake, and then just having to deal with, like, of course you want to be there for them, but I also would be like, well, I'm in a good mood today, it's my Sunday, so I'm sorry about your loss, but I'm gonna go like hang out with my friends. But
wow.
Which is why I'm not one of the 800 reasons I'm not a wag. But yeah, totally. But my empathy is not I'm not known for my empathy, but yeah.
Yeah, someone tells me that they're sitting back and just kind of thinking about the season at this point.
That's true.
And if you're not one of the main players on the team, you're also wondering if you're going to have a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're going to start this off with a very, very fun subject here. So, Meryl, have you heard about Dawson the dog?
No.
Okay, this is going to be a fun one. And this also tells you how smart dogs really are. So, Dawson the dog escaped from the Huntington Cable Wayne Animal Shelter which is located in West Virginia, by skillfully using his mouth to work the lock on his kennel, and then using his mouth and teeth on the front door of the shelter. All captured on surveillance video in early January 2026. He slipped out of his enclosure, went to the front door, stood on his hind legs, and manipulated the lock with his teeth before pushing the door open and leaving the building.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about smart.
Yeah. Now, does it say, was he surrendered by a family or anything, or do they know how he even got there?
Let's see. They don't say, but it'd be kind of interesting to find out. Yeah, they don't say how he came to the shelter. But just to let you know, after a brief search, Dawson was found and returned to the shelter by January 7, 2026, turning his clever escape into a heartwarming story. Now, what's interesting is I wonder how long it's going to be before someone adopts him, because
I know. I feel like
very smart dog.
I agree. Someone reading that article like right away needs to go get him, because clearly, I mean, no dog wants to be in the shelter, but a dog that's smart, that is sad. It's like a movie thinking of them escaping and then having to go back all the way,
Mm-hmm.
I think that remember like the very old movie, The Fox and the Hound, and it was like one fancy dog and one kind of like street dog, and anyway, it's a story about dogs not wanting to be in shelters, and it has like a sad thing, and that's what it reminds me of. So hopefully this will garner some attention for like not only him but a whole bunch of the dogs in that shelter.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it also shows too is that just because a dog is an older dog in a shelter doesn't mean they're not worthy of a good home.
No, not at all. In fact, that's like the cutest place to find an animal. I think, I'm not allowed in shelters because I feel like I'll take the whole, every single one. I'll just unlock it and take everyone.
Yes, that is a heartwarming story. And I would love to know who adopts him, because I'm quite sure he's going to be adopted very soon.
Yeah. That for a while, like one of my jobs was I worked at the LA Animal Services, which like they're the place that looks over a lot of the local shelters in town. And I feel like it's probably this way in a lot of bigger cities, but especially in like South Central LA and more of the Central LA ones. I felt so bad for the dogs in the shelter because a lot of them are like the breeds that I think people would normally be scared by, like whether it's, German Shepherds or Pit Bulls and like, I'm not like, I probably wouldn't like adopt one myself, just, not being able to control it. But I feel bad for city dog shelters because like the dogs, a lot of families aren't just going to go up and randomly choose one without knowing, because sometimes they look scary and, they've been there so long that they can like not be acting like their normal personality.
That's so true. In fact, you brought up a great point. Like I recently found out not too long ago that pit bulls are actually aren't vicious dog in a right environment.
Mm-hmm.
A good family dog, but what happens is people get them and they train them to fight and do all this vicious stuff.
Yeah.
And same thing like with a Rottweiler. Rottweilers are actually very docile dogs in their normal state. Very good family dogs. But again, in the wrong hands, people teach them how to be vicious and mean. And that's the reputation that they get.
Exactly. Well, if I could, I would go home with Dawson the dog. And
he can open the door for you, right?
Yeah, since it's just all of us listening, I would secretly want to replace one of my boyfriend's dogs that we have now and trade him out for Dawson. But it's just between all of us listening. My boyfriend will never hear this, and I would never do that. But I have one that I would like to be away be in Dawson's position. But yeah, that's it. It's so cute. Well, my first one is I was excited about that. I had some passion over a sports story. Now this is more ice skating and Olympic ice skating and everything. Where I was watching a 60 Minutes program about figure skater Alysa Liu, and I thought she was so like, I don't know if this was my first time being exposed to her, so like, but I think we're going to hear a lot more of her name. She took home the world championship for figure skating just a few years ago after announcing her retirement from the sport at age of 16. And then what I really liked about the interview is they talked to her about her decision to retire at 16 as like a crazy athlete. And she said she just wanted to be a normal teenager. She went hiking with friends to like Mount Everest. I think she did a whole bunch of things, and she was self-aware enough to know, okay, I need a break from this. And then she was also self-aware to know I want to come back into figure skating. And so she was back. They just showed her doing a routine to like a Lady Gaga song. And I just think to me, she like, it just seems so different from the other figure skaters because she has this relaxed energy to her, and she really looks like a teenager. Like she has these little brace things on her teeth, and her hair is dyed really weird. And she talks like a normal teen, and she gets really excited. And I just like fell in love with her. I thought she was so cute. And so she's definitely someone that I'll be watching in the future, because it looks like she may, be going to the Olympics or something like that.
This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on LRODVnetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss in your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on LRODVnetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to LRODVnetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.
I think it's a great story. I mean, because one of the problems with, whether it's young entertainers, young actors or actresses, young athletes, they kind of miss that point of growing up, of being a kid.
Yeah.
So I commend them, whether it's her decision, her parents, or maybe a combined decision. I think that if you're a child, you have to set aside some time to be a child, because you're never going to get that time back. And it does affect you when you grow too early, to me.
Yeah. And we were saying too that like, even though when she came back, her whole, obviously her body is a little different. Her center of gravity is different. So I'm sure she's probably learning how to do the crazy spins and everything differently. But what I like too is the way she skates. You can tell that she like doesn't need this, where she took a break once and she was fine with it. And so there's something different to me about her than the others, because it's not that like, like gymnastics and ice skating can be such like rigid. The athletes really usually seem so tightly wound. And so like, if they miss a tiny mark, it's going to be a huge upset. And she just kind of like seemed in the flow and confident. So I like it.
Oh yeah, I do too. And, it seems like she has some really great parents that's supporting her.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some parents, they want to keep you so laser focused on your activity that they forget that this is a child. They still have to grow up as a child. So I commend both of them for that.
Me too. It was really cute. Her fans were giving her like Hello Kitty stuff and little stuffed animals. I'm like, oh yeah, I still forget this is a teenager who probably goes home and talks about like boys or girls or whoever with her friends, and is like, still young enough to want Hello Kitty stuff. So I think that's very sweet.
Absolutely. I think a lot of parents need to pay attention to this story.
Yeah, I agree. Let your kids quit, and then they'll join the Olympics. That's the moral of it. And if they can't come back and join the Olympics, they were never good enough in the first place.
Interesting. Well, this story is going to be a little bit of a hot button here. So, a firestorm has brewed over the dress of a preacher's wife.
Ooh.
So, a dress worn by Dr. Carrie Turner Bryant, the wife of Atlanta megachurch pastor Jamal Bryant, sparked a significant social media debate regarding modesty and expectations for a pastor's wife. The controversy centered on a gown she wore to a high-profile charity event, the UNCF Mayor's Mask Ball. So basically, the dress in question was a striking black gown that features flesh-colored mesh, paneling designed to create an illusion of bare skin, while supporters defended it as an elegant, event-appropriate fashion choice and noted that the lining meant it was not actual sheer. Critics labeled it inappropriate and worldly for a woman in her position. What do you think about that, Meryl?
I'm looking at it now to like see it.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think okay, it's not as I mean it's not as like bad as I've seen. The funny thing is like I feel like I see worse like all the
Mm-hmm.
time. I do think it is like I really do think it actually is inappropriate, but the next yeah, like this would seem inappropriate for anyone, but I also love inappropriate. Like I don't mind that, but for the actual event and everything, yes, I don't think this was appropriate, but I also don't think this person deserves like shame or even outward judgment. Like we all whether it's good or bad, I feel like we all judge each other silently, whether it's like, oh, this person looks heavy or this person looks, their hair looks beautiful. And, we kind of should, I think it's also classy to keep your thoughts to yourself and whether good or bad, like not to outwardly shame someone. So, yeah, I don't think it was like the most obviously classy thing to wear, but I also don't think that she deserves like a huge dressing down from the internet. No pun intended or anything. What do you think?
I looked at the dress too. Looked at it a few times, and here's the thing: if she wasn't a preacher's wife, I don't think we'd be having this conversation.
No, it's like a beautiful going out dress. It's sexy. Like I think that's the
Mhm.
other issue is it's definitely like sexy.
I mean, I guess the question is that you know, should a preacher's wife be looked at in a certain prism, in a certain hourglass, or whatever?
Yeah.
Because if she wasn't a preacher's wife, people would be like, "Oh, that's a nice little dress, or whatever." A little very risque, but very nice. But because of that title, I guess everyone feels that the preacher's wife is supposed to be very, very, um, very subtle.
Yeah.
As far as the dress, very, very simple stuff like this. I don't know. I mean, is that really fair? Especially when you're just looking at the only thing different from her and anyone else is, she's, the wife of a preacher.
Not that this matters, but I think she's a doctor, right? Or like I don't know. I think so. Yeah. Not once again. Not that that matters. Like education, one way or another, does not like entitle people and to dress a certain way or not. But clearly, she is smart and she's intelligent, and I think like I don't know. I think she shouldn't be made to feel that way. If she feels sexy, or even if she's like, hey, I'm going to show that you can be a very like godly, respectable woman and you can kind of dress any way you want to. I think that's great.
That's true. That's true. I mean, this one right here, I would love to hear from our fans on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Love for them to go take a look at the dress and tell us, do you think it's appropriate for a preacher's wife to wear that dress? I would love to hear
Yeah.
this one.
Exactly, because it does look. I mean, I don't even want to say what it really does look like, but it looks like her profession is different than a preacher's wife. But I also, but I love women dressing any way they want to, and like I think it's. I think maybe our perception needs to be like expanded a little bit more too. Of like we're not like Puritans being like, oh my God, she's dressed like a harlot or something. And so anytime I feel judgmental about that. I just think no, women could wear definitely what they want to, um, and maybe even if it's quote unquote like inappropriate, kind of who cares? Maybe that's my own insecurity or my own like closed mindedness that's kind of talking here.
Now, the interesting thing is, here's the two responses: one from Dr. Carrie Bryant and the other one from her husband. So, Dr. Carrie Bryant stated that she refuses to let her style be defined by others' opinions and that the First Lady title doesn't define her, rather, she defines the title.
I love that.
Now, Pastor Jamal Bryant firmly defended his wife, stating he bought the dress himself, which I did not know. Okay, he bought the dress himself and thought she looked drop dead gorgeous. He addressed the critics during a church service, telling them he didn't need a committee's permission to celebrate my wife, and pivoting the conversation to broader social issues that deserve more attention. Wow, interesting.
Wow. See, if I was writing a script, I know this is not what happened now, but if I was writing a script, he would accidentally buy that dress for someone else, and then she found it, and he's like, "Oh no, it's for you." And then now she's wearing it to this event. It was meant for another woman. But anyway, and also sometimes pastors, and I'd rather someone dress however they want, but be just a good person in real life than like pretend to put on airs and then be like sneaky and corrupt behind the scenes, because we know that happens a lot in every religion and every like religious, leader. Sometimes you don't always walk the walk or whatever, that you talk the talk. So it sounds like she's like, this is how I'm dressing, but I'm a good, smart person and I'm a loyal wife and whatever. So take that.
I agree.
Yeah. But that's so interesting. Oh my gosh, that's a good one. Also, I do like her outfit. I feel like it's like music video-ish too. I like it. Well, I know you and I would both love this story. There was a man who had a mangled truck who was a local spectacle, and then a Good Samaritan changed everything. So a man named Mo Riles had a pickup truck in Indiana that was impossible to miss. As it moved through his town of South Bend, Indiana, it began drawing attention across town. A lot of people, giving double takes and judging, just how we talked about people judge. Someone even said they thought his truck was AI because it was so bad. But it was the bed of it. The bed of the truck was crushed and buckled with damage so severe it was hard to believe it was still drivable. There was a lot of scrapes and dents, and basically the truck's condition just looked like it was being held up by masking tape. We've all seen cars like that. And then because Indiana doesn't require routine inspections, the truck was able to be on the street and able to be driven. So a lot of people were seeing this truck and poking fun. But then one nice person, Colin Crowell, who's the owner of a local detailing shop, put two and two together and said, okay, this is obviously this guy's only means of transportation. So he launched a crowdfunding campaign to help get him a more reliable vehicle. And then they raised over $22,000 from 500 different donors. And now he's able to get a new Chevy Silverado truck. And so I think that's so sweet. So he was saying before, like he's worked at Dollar Tree. He's been dealing with health issues. And so it's not like there's this person wanting to drive a truck that's falling apart. He just was in like a bad situation. So I think that's so sweet. So instead of like pointing and laughing at people, they put their money where their mouth is a little bit and gave some money. And now that person had enough for a truck.
I think that's a great story. I mean, we need to do a lot more of that, because I think most people are so quick to judge other people, make fun of them, and, point and sneer and make comments. Sometimes a person is just down on their luck. Maybe they've gone through some issues or whatever financially, and the person just needs help.
Yeah, I think that's so sweet. Of course, it's ridiculous when you're driving on the freeway and you see someone with like no window and then like a piece of plastic is taped up in it, but we don't know. Maybe that person wants to change that like this week, but just can't because they're paying for bills and they make no money and all this stuff. So I think that's a good lesson. And the guy that like saw this and was the one person to do something different and actually take action, I feel like is like just a really good person.
Oh yeah, and I think there's a lot of great people, because it's not easy to do any kind of GoFundMe or any kind of campaign. So being that people gave money, there's a lot of people that really felt that heartfelt story and wanted to do something to help.
Yeah, exactly.
So kudos. That is definitely a feel great moment. Well, my last topic for today is interesting. In fact, you probably remember this guy, Elon Musk.
I remember Trump's old buddy. Season 2 of the White House. I remember that.
Oh, yes. Well, the mother of Elon Musk baby finally speaks out.
Oh my gosh. How many of his like the 10,000 babies?
He definitely has a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Well, the mother recently spoke out about having a baby with Elon Musk is conservative influencer Ashley St. Clair, revealing they secretly had a son named Romulus in late 2024. with paternity tests confirming that Musk is the father. She claims Musk offered hush money and wanted many children, but faced harassment, including deepfakes from Musk AI Guac, leading her to speak out about the private relationship and Musk's alleged desire for a baby making operation.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, here's the thing. You know what kind of guy Musk is when you get with him. So I can't, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you could put the whole thing on Musk. You kind of know he has all these kids going into this. So,
Yeah.
and if what she's saying is true, she's telling you flat out that, he's saying flat out he wants a bunch of children, but he wants no relationship.
Right. Yeah, it does sound like he just wants a breeding farm or like, just little, it's almost like an experiment to him, how she said.
Exactly. And, I'm quite sure she's getting paid very well being the mother of one of his children.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about that, Meryl?
I feel like it sounds to me like he already has a bunch of kids that he should be putting effort and attention in. And I feel like whatever he's seeking from like the next child, I feel like if he just, he is like undeniably so brilliant and smart and has resources that if you just, to me, like focus on the children you do have, you can help shape them into be like the leaders or whatever he's looking to create, I just don't know why like people always want like more and more kids. Why wouldn't you like pour into the ones that you have now?
Oh, exactly. And the other thing too, and we overlook this, is the well-being of the child, because as that child grows up, they're already not in a quote unquote family type situation, because basically he wants a bunch of children, he wants no relationships, and this child is going to have a bunch of siblings by a bunch of different mothers. So,
right.
And then plus, how much quality time is Musk really spending with these children when you have so many children? You can only spread your time out so much, especially if you're running a big corporations as well too.
Exactly. And it sounds like the mom is busy too with her own career. So like, that's just a lot. Oh God, I can't imagine growing up and being like, well, my dad is Elon Musk, but I don't really hear from him or talk to him. He sends me a Cybertruck once a year. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. And I think we overlook the fact that, yes, it's nice to have materialistic things. It's nice to have money, but money does not replace time, and it doesn't replace the quality of a relationship with your parents.
Right. Which is, I just don't understand the desire to have more and more when you have children that are probably already very looking for your attention and just, wanting to get your knowledge and everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the sad part about it is, Meryl, we can look at recent events and showing children of privilege that really have messed up lives, and financially they have things that people would love to have, dream of having. And to me, I think that's a clear sign that money does not buy happiness. Yes, it may remove a lot of the obstacles and a lot of the noise, but it does not buy you happiness.
Yep. Well, something also that doesn't buy happiness or barely buys anything is a ticket to the WestJet plane. I don't know if you've seen this on TikTok, but it's so ridiculous. There's the WestJet, which is a Canadian low-cost carrier, have taken things to the extreme with a small airline legroom. There's a video that got over 583,000 views. TikTok user Lindsay May Noble shows a man sitting on the WestJet flight. She's asking probably her husband, asking how's the seat, and then she pans down, and his knees are literally pressing, like he's almost having to sit smushed into the seat. He has absolutely no room, and this sparked a whole big conversation about WestJet, about how not only the seats are like absurdly small, but that makes it unsafe. And for people that are just taller, not even bigger, just taller, they are unable to even like get their legs in. And so I think WestJet apologized, and I think they were going to talk about the industry. I don't know. They kind of said like thanks, we'll look into it type of thing. Now, lucky for us, I think there is some type of like FAA regulation where we can't be too much on top of each other. But if you see the videos and the photos of this, it's crazy. People have to like sit like a turtle. They're so cramped.
Yeah, I have strong feelings about that because I was on a flight years ago where my knees were pressed into the seat in front of me.
Oh,
I'm not going to mention the airlines, but I'm quite sure people could guess what it is.
yeah.
They nickel and dime me for every little thing. I'll just say that. So,
Yeah.
and I will never ride that. I will never fly that again ever. Not only is it very uncomfortable, but I think it's very unsafe as well too. Because even if the flight is okay and you run into some turbulence, now you're bumping your knees that's already crushed onto the seat in front of you, which means you're probably going to be knocking the person that's sitting in front of you, and it makes it uncomfortable for everyone. And I agree, that can't be safe. So I
Yeah.
think it's ridiculous. I mean, if there is a rule about knee space, this one airline did not follow that. So just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. And it's like, how much extra? I mean, they probably are earning millions by like saving inches of seat, being able to load people on and overstuff flights and everything. But it's like, how greedy do you have to be? Like, can't you make 1 billion less extra dollars or 1 million? It's just really crazy.
Well, but here's the other thing, Meryl. If it's going to cost an extra $5 or $10 to get some knee space, because maybe you have to knock out one or more rows of seats to give people space, you still make the same amount of money, but people are comfortable. I think
Yeah.
people won't argue about that. But when you're paying money to fly and you're uncomfortable, you're not a happy camper on that flight. I don't care who you are.
No.
And it's to me, it just makes it a horrible experience, especially for people who don't like to fly.
Exactly. And the negative press that this got them too. Like when they say any press is good press, but I don't think on TikTok, like a brand that's not really used to going viral is now viral for like the wrong reasons. It's not a good way to, start the year. And now they have to respond to that and do something else to kind of rectify that.
Oh yeah, and then the other thing too is people who had a bad experience on another airline, they're going to think back and go, yeah, so that's another one I'm adding to my list that I'll never ride.
Usually I feel like I just try to get an aisle seat and I just disassociate and try to mind my own business with everything.
I don't blame you, but I tell you one thing: me and my wife took a trip to go visit my son, and I surprised my wife with first class seats. And I'm telling you,
Oh,
once you do first class, it's really hard to go back to standard seats.
yeah. And this is a whole other separate, there's for a different episode, but like now there's been, I feel like a spike of people asking other people to move for them and switch seats. And I just think we've got to stop that too. And like, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm also a childless person. Maybe I have less insight on it, but to me, like everyone just like stay in the seat unless it's a true emergency where like a mom needs to be next to her infant and something went wrong. But like, just like a husband and wife sitting together, like is not an emergency. I just think it's like gotten a little crazy.
Well, I can tell you part of that problem is that airlines nickel and dime the daylights out of you. If you want to sit next to someone, you pay extra for that, which I think is insane. But you pay extra; they literally pay extra for everything. So some people may feel that, well, I paid extra for this specific seat. Why should I give it up?
Yeah.
You can't really get mad at them if they're paying extra.
Yeah, definitely. It's like I've done whatever I need to in my life to like get me to this aisle seat. So like leave me alone and like I'm not like for the rest of the flight I'm nicely in my aisle seat. So yeah. But
well, some people may or may not be happy with that, but it is what it is, right?
yeah, totally. And it's one thing to ask nicely if someone will switch with you, but the expectation that just because you ask someone has to, or if you don't switch seats, that you're like a bad, selfish person, I think is crazy.
Now, if I'm flying by myself and you ask me nicely, depending on the situation, I may or may, it depends on the situation. Now, if you come at me real cocky, you're like, well, I need your seat because, I want to sit next to my daughter or whatever. Well, that's your problem. I ain't moving nowhere.
Yeah.
Delivery means a lot.
Exactly. And delivery and bribery. I'm like, you gotta, this is a transaction, and also there's also a safety thing for the most part. Like we're supposed to sit in the seats that we're given because of like safety records and, like we're not supposed to be switching all around and everything. So yeah, totally. That's one way I become a nerd.
That's true. That's actually an excellent point. Wow. This was a very, very full day today.
Very fun.
Well, Meryl, tell us what you have coming up.
This Friday, I'm at the Hollywood Improv in Hollywood. And it'll be really fun. That's the one I'm doing a set on Disney villains. And I'm going to be talking about like if Disney villains were on a reality show, which one would they be on? So it'll be cool.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I've already had my friend help me with like AI and photoshopping images on to it. So it should be good.
Nice. Well, if you're in Hollywood, make sure you go out and see Meryl.
Yay.
Well, everyone, this was a great episode. We had a lot of great topics. Also, wanted to thank you again for continuing to watch and listen to us. We really appreciate your support. I'm Lawrence Elrod.
I'm Meryl Climo.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on elrodthenetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss and your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on elrodthenetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to elrodthenetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.